Few leaders can promote themselves as well as India's Narendra Modi. Since his election as Prime Minister in 2014, he has projected himself as the creator of a stronger and aggressive India, taking credit for its great economic growth and blaming his predecessors when things went wrong. A generation of voters feel India's growing status on the global stage is due to him. On Wednesday, Donald Trump threatened to impose 50% tariffs on goods from the world's fourth largest economy, highlighting his disruptive nature. India today faces some of the harshest U.S. tariffs of any nation. The declaration is a startling development given the two men's previous friendship. Modi and Trump are populists who share ideological beliefs and have previously campaigned for each other. And this year, Modi became one of the first international leaders to visit the White House since Trump's return to office in January. During the February visit, he dubbed him a great friend, and the two agreed to raise U.S. India commerce to $500 billion by 2030. But trouble erupted in late July when Trump imposed a 25% duty on Indian exports, which he increased on Wednesday. The U.S. president has focused on India's considerable purchase of Russian oil as a deadline for Moscow to adhere to a ceasefire in Ukraine approaches. The new tariffs, which go into effect on August 27, won't necessarily protect U.S. markets or firms. However, they will punish a country that now imports 36% of its oil from Russia, up from 0.2% prior to the Kremlin's full-fledged invasion of Ukraine 3 years earlier. Much of this inexpensive oil is used for internal consumption. India imports more than 80% of the oil it requires, and immediately finding another supplier will not be easy or cheap. The Indian government criticized the levies as unfair, unjustified, and unreasonable. However, there may be a perception that Western nations are hypocritical. The European Union continues to conduct business with Russia, and Washington previously supported India's purchase of Russian oil to stabilize global energy prices. According to Reuters, local refiners are waiting for New Delhi's decision on whether to continue importing Russian oil. Meanwhile, India's national security advisor is in Moscow and has stated that Putin will visit India later this year. Top Modi aides are set to visit Russia in the coming days. However, no matter how the Modi government responds, one thing is certain. Modi's perceived friendship with Trump was ultimately a toxic dalliance, defined by Modi's effusiveness and Trump's cutthroat self-interest. The bromance is over personal chemistry cannot overcome the cold math of global interests. Leaving aside the issue of Russian oil, the United States and India have differed on trade, tariffs, and geopolitics. Trump aims to bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S., while Modi's Make in India push encourages American corporations to shift from China to India. Modi's approach is just not compatible with Trump's America First ideals. India is also dissatisfied with Trump's unexpected shift toward Pakistan. In June, he received Pakistan's army head at the White House and just announced an oil exploration agreement with Pakistan. He irritated India by claiming credit for a ceasefire between India and Pakistan following a 4-day battle in May. None of this pleases a country that has fought hard wars with Pakistan and whose politicians have worked tirelessly over the last 2 decades to lift Indo-US relations to new heights. Trump's moves have disturbed these pillars. His comments have also outraged the Indian elite. Last week, Trump went so far as to call India's economy dead and accuse Modi of profiting from chaos, thereby transforming a symbol of friendship into a tool for public shame and control. Indian ambassadors are accustomed to discreet, behind-the-scenes diplomacy. After remaining mute for several days, Modi attempted to address tariffs on Thursday, saying that he would not sacrifice the interests of Indian farmers. But he faces a difficult balancing act ahead. If he yields on any point, he risks losing his reputation at home. However, if he attempts to confront America, he risks greater escalation, which might affect an unstable economy that is now more tied with America than ever before. The United States is India's largest trading partner, and many of the country's $86 billion in goods exports to the United States will be rendered unviable if tariffs go into effect in 20 days. Trump's tariff announcements are frequently arbitrary, and he routinely revises rates, sometimes backing off and sometimes becoming more aggressive. There are also internal political concerns for Modi. The opposition has capitalized on the situation, calling the tariffs economic blackmail and an attempt to bully India into an unfair trade deal as talks continue. The lesson for India is that concrete interests, not warm hugs, determine policy. For Trump, No relationship appears sacred. Just the art of the bargain is important. Modi may have believed he could charm Trump. Trump was pleased to be lauded, but ultimately, that is insufficient. For the longest time, Indian foreign policy was based on the notion of strategic autonomy. However, exerting such authority comes with costs, as we have seen this week. The tariffs serve as a warning to India that, while its influence and economy have expanded, its strategic relevance has yet to reach the point where it can simply have its way. Its foreign policy remains too autonomous for the West's satisfaction. Its markets remain inaccessible to many Western products. Its bureaucratic procedures remain burdensome for international enterprises, and its industries subject to external factors.